and welcome to Tardis Talk episode, I guess it's episode 7 for us. We are talking about the 2005 episode of Doctor Who, Father's Day, where we realize that Rose doesn't learn any lessons whatsoever. But before we get started into that, let's go ahead and just advise everybody where you can find us. Since I'm like up here in the upper left-hand corner, I'm going to go ahead and just start. My name is Tony. You don't really need to know much about me other than I'm at Mr. Marvelite. But more importantly, just check out It's FanBox, itsfanbox.com, or at It's FanBox anywhere on social media. We are just doing lots of these type of things, whether it's Tardis Talk, Daredevil, Born Again. We have a fandom show, and then there's also movie reviews and different types of information and news on our website, itsfanbox.com. And I also know that there is a rumor about the potential for us starting not only a, Severance show, but also a Star Wars show talking about the fandom menace. And so that's more to come once we have more details. But that's pretty much it. And if you like this show, you can always check us out on audio, so you can drive to work or wherever it's with us. That's anywhere you get podcasts. And with that said, Niko, take it over.
I'm Niko Skywalker on TikTok, Skywalking Niko on Instagram, and I love the Doctor. That's about all you need to know about me.
I am Xanatos1138 on all social medias, mostly TikTok, but yeah, that's it.
I am Marvelous Johnny. That is Marvelous with 2 L's because we live in Canada. And I just love British television usually.
Yeah. And Johnny is the one person on this panel right now that is living in the past. He's 3 hours behind us, which means he had to get up earlier to watch the show and be ready for us. And
I'm just glad I could be a part of this episode because I've missed the last few and I feel bad.
That's okay. Me and David held it down together last week. So.
I did see that. I hopped in very late, like 2 minutes before the episode ended last week. I'm just like, hey guys, what's up? And I'm just like, oh, it's like 11:58.
Well, we figured because of daylight savings, that wonderful thing that it probably messed some people up. So
look, here's the thing. I hate Trump. I'm sure most of us do. But I'm glad he wants to get rid of it. Just with the dumbest reasons ever.
But I didn't explain something. It's always being talked about getting removed, and there's never enough support to do it. So
I've been hearing about getting rid of daylight savings for the last.
But besides, if we ever got rid of daylight savings, the last point of relevance that Nicolas Cage has with National Treasure would be gone. So. We got to hold on to the last sliver of hope when it comes to
I don't know, man. He was pretty good in Long Legs.
In Nick Cage, we trust, I guess.
Yeah.
I mean, he's in that Spider-Man Noir TV show.
Or the one what he did with also the movie that he did with Pedro Pascal. What was it called?
The Burden of Excellence or something like that.
Of Glorious Purpose or something like that. Yeah.
Right here, the unbearable weight of massive talent.
Yeah.
Massive talent. Yes. Thank you.
That was a fantastic movie. Yes.
It was so much fun.
Not like it.
Well, it's okay.
At
least one of you guys have taste in your family.
Exactly. So, he's a weeb. It's fine. That says everything, I think.
No. So you just say ooh woo and he just kind of gets distracted.
A little bit.
Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and start talking Doctor Who because let's face it, that's what we're here for. So this was the episode. I mean, this is following our endeavor on Satellite 5 with the long game. The episode that had the most useless use of Sean Penn. And then of course the punchable face of whatever his name was. I don't even care anymore. I think Adam. Just hate Adam. And of course, Rose sees everything that happens and learns no lessons whatsoever. And this is the one episode where I see the Doctor really regretting having Rose involved. So who would like to kind of just give a basic rundown of what happened in the episode so we can then talk about it?
I mean, in short, daddy issues take hold and wreaks havoc on everything. I think that's the easiest way to sum it up. Daddy issues.
That is probably a very great probably the shortest explanation of the episode. But yeah, Rose wants to go see her daddy. He died when she was a baby.
She calls him daddy. It makes me semi uncomfortable this episode, and it's probably because I'm a Gen Z kid.
Yeah, and of course, her dad has no context as to what she's doing at first, and it's only after they've had these really oddly touching moments, like that in touching is very awkward for a guy who doesn't know who this girl is. And I mean, I felt bad for Jackie in this episode because like all she sees is him hanging out with this other blonde,
Right.
and to the point of bringing her to the wedding.
Yeah,
like it makes me wonder what else Pete has done.
there's a lot of uncomfortably aged situations in this episode because like we got Pete and we got Rose, but then we also have Rose and like really young Mickey. I'm just like,
Yeah.
Yeah, but then at the same time, like Mickey's like what, like 8 or 9 years old?
yeah, which is fine. And then she goes on to make
Hold
that
on,
comment.
hold on
I
a second.
imprinted on Mickey.
Rose Tyler
right.
comes into the doctor's life at 19 years old, correct?
Mm-hmm.
I don't remember how old she is.
So that
actually.
means
Yeah,
that means Mickey's at least like 8 or 9 years older than Rose.
It's a very Han Solo and Leia
Never
situation.
thought about that.
Yeah, that's true. It's very much Han Solo, like when you realize that Solo takes place the same time as Kenobi kind of situation.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
this is why we
Basically-
don't mess with time travel in relationships.
Basically, we had at that wedding there was more than one groom. But regardless, I'm telling you, like the more you look back at like the 2000s like TVs and movies, I realize how questionable it is. Let's just forget the fact that 19-year-old Rose is interested in the 900-year-old doctor.
Yeah.
And we know that's reciprocated down the road, but
At least he
Like-
looks younger.
and wow, and then it even gets worse when you think about Amy Pond. Like
Yeah.
When the doctor met her as a little girl.
and she's had this like
Here's the
hold up in her head. Yeah.
At least it's a situation where it's her kissing him and not him actively going for her, and he tries to put up the barriers for it. And then when she does kiss him, she at least goes, "Rory, quick thing, your fiance kissed me."
He physically brings her to Roy, like, here.
Just-
No.
Take her.
and spoilers, sweetie, but he also that means he ends up kissing his grandmother.
Not his mother-in-law.
Oh yeah, his mother-in-law. Okay, well that's
No, I
that's
love
so
it
good.
when Amy realizes she's the doctor's mother-in-law. Here's the
Oh,
deal. That the Amy, Rory, River, and Doctor stuff is just so over the top that yes, it's creepy when you really think about it,
Right.
but it's still freaking hilarious.
Do you know? I really feel like that core group through the 12th Doctor or the 11th Doctor is kind of why when we get the 13th, there's this push to have multiple companions. Except for none of them were cohesive enough together. I think I felt like the grandfather and son and grandson dynamic
Yes.
was the better of it, because I loved seeing like how they were working, like how they were kind of like growing together. But like I don't think we'll ever see that kind of like a team up, like really, what's the word, like gel together very well. I feel like as creepy as Amy was in a lot of cases, it's definitely one of the more OG groups, I think, when it comes to like a team up.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But like also just Karen Gillan. I know we
love
don't
Karen
support this
Gillan.
kind of terrible behavior, but at the same time, it's Karen Gillan. I'm just
I love Karen Gillan.
That's
Aw,
probably
every
why I'm just like, that's
time.
okay.
Yeah.
legit. If you put Karen Gillan in front of something, it does not matter. Like she could probably be a genocidal murder queen, and so many people would just look at her and go slay.
Well, I mean, look
She's
at
just
I mean,
Karen.
she played Amy Pond. She's been Nebula. She did Ruby Roundhouse. Like she's done like different gamuts of characters, and it's fun. It's just fun to watch. And I mean, we won't even talk about what was it, Vanilla Milkshake or
Milkshake Shotgun? No,
Yeah,
Gunpowder Milkshake.
Gunpowder Milkshake. Yeah. I still think she did well in the midst of that. Like you just taping weapons to her hands and having her take people out was kind of fun. But Yeah, she's got. I hate saying this, but she's got range. Because I say it a lot. Like I've said it a number of times about different people, but yeah,
No, she
yeah.
does. She does.
But coming back to Rose.
Yes.
Rose, how in the world, first of all, does Rose convince the doctor to go back to the same point twice?
He's obsessed.
Like,
obsessed with her.
that's just that's like him breaking every rule. Like,
he's still coming. He's still coming out of the Time War. He's trying to like live vicariously through her. She's like, what's the big deal for her to watch one man die? Because he can't go back and just watch his entire planet die. That's a bit much. But like, just one pasty white dude in Britain during a time when it was majority white people, I'm sure it's fine, right?
Sure.
He won't.
That's how I
change the course
interpreted
of
it.
time, right? She won't do that.
No, he's just smitten, and he's probably thinking about like she learned her lesson with Adam,
and he didn't. She didn't. She absolutely didn't. And
exactly.
and even to the point of where she's really like she's indignant to the point of where like he's so angry and he's like, I made a mistake with you. I should have never brought you along. Just another selfish ape. And she's like, you're gonna leave. He's like, here's your key, and you're gonna leave, and you'll be back, and you're gonna be sitting at the TARDIS waiting for me, and I'm gonna make you wait a long time. And I'm like, wow,
Right.
the gall.
I like it when the Doctor gets mean, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Especially Christopher Eccleston's Doctor. Like we get that hint of the War Doctor still there. So which is just very fun to watch, knowing how the 50th anniversary goes and how we see War Doctor talk to the moment as Rose too. So
yeah, which also makes which makes a lot of sense. Like a lot of these episodes, like when you get down to them, like when you get to that anniversary episode, it makes more sense why the Doctor was so. Well, he was so drawn to Rose in the first place. Like that was. It's weird how the machine even used like his memory from the future, even though it hasn't happened yet, to draw him in with that character.
Yeah, he went out of his way to try and find the most convoluted solution so that Rose's dad could still be alive.
Yeah,
and Rose's dad even figured it out, and like that was my favorite part of the episode. It's like, okay, this is the Doctor trying to help out Rose, and then basically apologizing for saying really nasty stuff, and it's just like, okay, I guess they're better now. And then not to trend like being a hater because we hated on Adam last week, but Rose was pretty dumb this episode.
Oh yeah,
look, you always gotta have someone, okay?
Yeah, and she was also
sadly as this time is Rose,
and she was no help whatsoever
at all. Like
she was just off to the side, just doing what she wanted to do with Pete. For Pete's sake.
God damn it.
But yeah, so and honestly, okay, so we get to the point where they're at this point, she saves Pete, the Doctor leaves her, and then we get, and I really think the Doctor was going to leave her because the next thing we get is this, and it's like he realizes he's
his
screwed.
Jacket was zipped up. What?
Yeah, that's a crazy freeze frame. It looks like a different jacket.
Yeah, it looks like a jacket over his.
You want to know what's
jacket.
funny? It's like I distinctly remember him walking up and the jacket not being. I did not notice that. It's just randomly zipped up for a frame. That's funny.
I guess it was a really cold day in Cardiff that day.
That's crazy.
But yeah, no, honestly, like, I mean, talking about how mean the Doctor is, let's also not forget when she tries to go and touch her baby self. Oh, we lost Tony.
Yes.
We're still streaming.
Yeah,
yes,
I mean,
we're still live.
Okay. She did that, and then she just kind of held her hands out when the baby was being handed to her. It's like, no, you heard it before.
Like, no,
literally, we told you not to.
Like, look, that's our Rose. And she's like, yeah. I'm like, no, stop it.
We
stop.
basically got to the same conclusion the long way around.
Here's the thing though. If I remember correctly, season 1 of Doctor Who was filmed out of order. A little bit like series 1 of 2005 Doctor Who was filmed out of order, quite like season 1 of Doctor Who with Chuti, right? So I wouldn't be surprised if this is one of those episodes that maybe they originally had planned to be a bit earlier, and it just and then they just decided to shift it later. Right?
I can't remember when it was. I think it was supposed to be right before the Dalek episode, something like that.
Yeah. See, it's these little things where then begs the question: why did they move it further into the season? Is it because it needed more time to polish because of like those time race things? Special effects needed more time. Who knows?
I know a little bit about this. Okay, so
okay. I'm asking all the right questions today.
Nice.
You are. I had the book here. Now it's gone. So I have a book of this. So basically, what I was told, what I was reading, about those wraiths was the fact that those aliens were never supposed to happen. They were not going to do them. In fact, I think one of the things that Moffat tried to do, or Russell T Davies tried to do with show running this season, was they were not going to delve into heavy CGI. They didn't want to have any CGI characters that were dependent on that. That's why with the Slovene, they were practical effects first, and then they used CGI just to accompany like better movement for them.
Right.
And you had different things where like even when they like had the port on the head open up, there were moments where when he touched it, you could feel it, because I think they actually glued like the little doors to the head, and then he just CGI'd the brain so that it just gave that extra, the extra depth. They were not going to do CGI aliens. And so I think when they filmed it, they realized that they were going to try to do an unseen monster.
Mm-hmm.
And they realized it wasn't translating well. So they gave it more time to be able to do the CGI rendering.
There we go. So a little bit like the Van Gogh episode almost, where you can't quite see the weird alien chicken thing.
Yeah, and I think that was the thing. Like for Van Gogh, that worked, but even with it, you did have moments and glimpses of the creature, through the doctor's filter and stuff like that. But it made for more menacing, because at that point, it did make sense. They couldn't sell it to the people. Like, what were the people running from this, this unseen roaring, whatever, like people were just disappearing. I think it gave more depth. So yeah, but I do remember the fact they were not going to do CGI. So I think at the moment they decided to do it, that's when it kind of delayed the episode.
I'm not going to lie. Honestly, I think because while I was watching this episode, I'm like, how cliched is it every single time we get like some kind of show involving time travel? Someone does something that rewrites time itself, and then we get that stereotypical idea of a time wraith, right? Like we get it in Legends of Tomorrow, we get it in The Flash, we got it in this. I'm just like, was there no other, like, what other ideas did they consider? Because people who write Doctor Who are relatively creative, in my opinion. And yes, Doctor Who's known for having monsters and everything, but like, if they were to have done something else, I think it could have been a bit more interesting. It could have made this episode stand out in a better way.
Yeah.
Well, I also think it was really early in, and I think that's the problem. Like, I would have loved to have had a season 2 with Eccleston, because I think we would have gotten better stories for him. I think he would have had more to play with, and I think he probably would have had a better experience. But I think that's part of why there's such bad blood now, and how he is, because he was treated wrong. He wasn't given an opportunity. And I mean, let's face it, I love David Tennant, but David Tennant benefits from the struggles that the first season went through.
Exactly.
So it makes it understandable that I would be upset too. Like, I kickstart something to get something going, and it becomes this sensational thing again, and I got all the bad stuff, and then everybody else is flying with, let's say real cameras and, and better graphics of sorts.
Right.
Yeah.
It can be frustrating.
No, absolutely. It's just, I mean, hopefully we'll see him come back one day. We at least got him right now in the audiobooks.
Yeah.
Well,
which I need to go find.
His actual conditions were basically just fire everybody. So if they if that happens one day, maybe,
Was it where?
Have you heard the rumors?
Hmm?
Have you heard the rumors? Like, so we talked about the whole thing about us basically seeing Cootie possibly not coming back after this next season, or maybe season 3. There's also there again, these are rumors. I want him to stay, and I don't think but the rumors have kind of continued online. And mind you, I was sick with COVID last week, so I had time to like just scroll and doom scroll through the internet. And one of the things that I noticed was there's rumor that Disney is disappointed with how the last season, the first season of Doctor Who that's now under Disney control, is, and they want Russell T Davies to retire. They do not want him to choose a successor. They want to be able to approve whoever the next showrunner is going to be, and that Cooney is actually thinking about leaving because of Russell T Davies leaving. And if they don't get what they want, there's talk of Disney like ending their contract, and the BBC basically thinking that they would, again, rumors, there's talk of the BBC possibly shelving Doctor Who for a couple years and then doing another revival later down the road because they have no interest in running the show without having some partnership with some bigger conglomerate. And the only other thought was that Amazon might want to take over Doctor Who if Disney drops the ball.
Well, Shooty is set for life, like regardless of what happens. Like
he was in Barbie.
Yeah, I mean he's gonna be fine. My fear about that is like everyone complaining and predicting, oh, it's gonna shut down, because Disney loves to bow to the negative opinions of the general, general fan base. Mm-hmm. And it's disappointing because, like, you know, there are fans of the show. It's just not the fans they're listening to, and it's not like they're a small group. They're a big group of people.
I will say, I feel like, in my honesty, I think we could do like an entire episode doing a deep discussion about Disney, Doctor Who, BBC, and the entirety of the future of the series as an episode in itself. So,
then maybe we should do that.
I was gonna say, anyone free after this hour we do this episode? We can play Fortnite while we do it.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I think that's the big discussion, because I think Disney, I'll be honest with you, Disney is the problem when it comes to this. And it's happened with Marvel, it's happened with Star Wars. There's this expectation.
They're doing more sequels now with their animation too, right?
Yeah, and Disney has this, especially when it comes to working with BBC for Doctor Who. I feel like the last thing that Doctor Who in itself should have done is really worked with an American company. That's just my personal opinion, because I feel like Doctor Who should have stayed British, like fully British, and all it's going to do is cause these expectations, and these people that are, you know, that they have not gone through. Like, I'll be honest with you, I've gone through episodes of Doctor Who in these last 13 seasons, you know, getting up to the 15th Doctor, and there were moments where I just didn't like it, but I kept going because I knew it was for something else. It was something, and I was able to acknowledge things. People will just want to dislike something and want to just eviscerate it and complain about it, and not say, okay, sometimes it's not great. I'm a huge Smallville fan. Season 7 sucked, but I still watched to the end, and I'm glad I did. I've got the box set. I'll still watch. I'm not going to skip season 7 just because, you know, of the writer strike and because it was just bad. It was just bad writing.
That makes sense.
I'm still going to enjoy it. It's the same thing with Doctor Who. Just because, like, when we get to Jodie Whittaker, not my favorite season, but it's not her fault. But for me to overlook it and not be like, because there are moments in Jodie's like story that I absolutely love and I like going back to watch. And I'm glad I can say that I've gone through. Now, mind you, there's been a couple times where I've gotten myself caught up in the week to the 12th Doctor or the 11th Doctor, and then all of a sudden I have to watch the episode for this, and then I start all over again in 2005, which I will be so glad we get through this season. But especially
going through it the long way around,
it feels like it. It feels like it. I feel like I'm stuck in a time loop.
I mean, Jodie's seasons definitely had ups and downs, but she is I want to say my second favorite Doctor. Because like her as the character was incredible. She did a great job, especially with what she was given. And there was very emotional, impactful scenes in her run. And I really hope that someday she gets to come back and kind of like do more with it.
My main point of concern, and this will be my last statement on this overall discussion, because we should get back to the episode. But like, it's very concerning that if BBC / Disney / whoever beds Doctor Who after we've had a woman and now a black man play the Doctor, that's not good optics. One, in 2, what does that really say about the overall media for a franchise itself that has claimed and has honestly been somewhat of a champion for many marginalized communities, right?
Oh, absolutely.
It's a terrible look for them, and it also gives more credence to the theory that they did the bi-generation just to have David Tennant as a backup plan.
Oh, I always keep forgetting about David, or about 15. I'm losing track. 14.
Do you realize
he's 14?
But sitting here thinking about it with the bi-generation, do you realize how many versions of David Tennant's Doctor are out there in the ether?
We got 10, we got 14.
Meta-crisis.
We have Tennant's.
Yeah, we have the meta crisis that's over in the other alternate universe.
That's another
with Rose.
universe. That's like an alternate reality.
Doesn't matter. We thought that door was closed with the void, and then all of a sudden the Daleks are there and they're making their machine.
Ten's daughter, who's actually David Tennant's real life wife because of that episode.
But also Five's daughter, but like the actor who played Five's actual. Yeah. We can keep going with this weird shit.
I look at so many facets of Doctor Who, and I think of the time, the scene in Avengers Endgame where Hulk's like time travel, because you can answer so many questions with that.
Right.
Yeah.
It's like running the time through the person, not the person through time.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Wibbly wobbly.
Wibbly wobbly and more than just time.
Wibbly wobbly, timey wimey, reality warpy.
Yeah. Yeah. So back to the episode.
Back to Padres Day.
Funny thing, like I love the fact that we see Pete Tyler's all of his little things. And I think that episode, like Father's Day, leads us to like a couple seasons down the road when we finally get the alternate universe Tyler,
exactly,
where all of those things worked. Because we only know a little bit about him until this episode. And he's definitely a likable character in this episode. He's definitely more likable down the road. Once the alternate Jackie's gone. And I love the fact I just love the fact that there's all of that out there, but he's a little weird. And I think everybody there is weird. Like even the bride and groom are kind of awkward when they are telling their story, how they met and everything. And the doctor's like, yeah, you could do those, don't say you're nothing. Like, this is something that I could never do. And like, this is something that most of us would never do. But either way, it
was an excellent precursor to the doctor's statement, to 11's doctor just going like, not important. I have in like my 10 billion years of living, I've never met a single person who wasn't important,
Yeah, that's the first thing I thought of. And then just the doctor's outlook on every little thing being like, yeah, that's a great moment in time for you. And it's beautiful. And like the couple of times his positive outlook shown through in this episode was very cool.
It was nice. And then we see him be a dick to Rose. I'm like, I love it. It just truly shows Rose, the complexity of the character.
Don't talk to me today, Rose.
Oh, when he got to talk to Jackie. I've been waiting a long time for this. Jackie Tyler, shut up.
That was great. But no, as Tony mentioned earlier, this was an excellent precursor to the alternate dimension Cybermen episode that we would get in like later seasons. Because when I was like, oh, Father's Day, I'm like, oh yeah, this is the one with her dad. I'm like, wow, we're already at the alternate dimension episode. I start the episode, I'm like, right, forgot the episode where Rose fucks everything up.
And then she learns nothing the next episode, which is great.
Well, I also love the fact that like time refuses to accept the fact that she's messed everything up, for the fact that one driver just keeps looping over the block and disappearing and then coming back. Like it's like time's like either he's dead or we're not going anywhere. And it's like the universe was basically telling her, yeah, you're not getting what you want.
This is a fixed point in time. Motherfucker's gotta die.
Yep.
Say goodbye. Gosh. At the end of this episode, when Jackie's telling the story to Rose and it's like the new version, I'm like, I wonder if Jackie was like this version of Jackie, because she forgot that was Rose, and she's like, says a random girl went out
and
and
just
held his
held his
hand.
hand and just waited there. Then she just
It's so-
disappeared.
And Jack finally like, I wonder where she went. I need to ask her some questions.
Man.
I mean, she does find out that was Rose, right?
Well,
I don't
she
think
does.
so.
She, it's at the end of this season
That way.
when the Daleks are taking over Satellite 5.
Yes.
Rose does end up telling her, and Jackie refuses to hear it first, and then she comes in and saves the day with the big old truck.
Yes.
Because
Yeah,
remember, Mickey goes, once I save the universe with the yellow truck.
Gotta love
Not a
Mickey.
yellow submarine, though.
Right.
Fortunate joke missed.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, no.
Yeah.
What do we think of the designs of the time wraiths? Because I'm not gonna lie, like you said, Tony, they were added in much later. They looked like 2005 CGI.
Yeah.
They look pretty good, and I like their design, quite frankly.
I was going to mention that because I don't know why they made that choice of just this weird dragon clam monster thing. Like I don't know who thought of that.
Part crustacean to some extent.
Yeah, I mean, because it opened up and ate the doctor from its stomach. Like that was a very strange.
Which
choice.
also, like, damn, the doctor dies this episode.
Right.
Yeah.
I love a good doctor lose this episode and somehow everything's still all right because time.
I'm trying to look up something because they reminded me of a creature that I had seen in a previous TV movie or something.
They got like these bat wings, and then like they got like predator like kind of mandibles that like can easily collapse and just cover the rest of their stomach mouth. It's pretty dope. I like it.
Who's that?
Like, here's the thing
glad
though,
we
like
saw
for a creature like this clearly means that like, okay, so this creature exists because of these paradox events where things that are supposed to happen don't end up happening. Haven't we come across these kind of events later on in Doctor Who history? Where are these guys? Why don't they ever come back?
There's one that I can think about, and it's the one with the master, but he specifically turns a TARDIS into a paradox machine to maintain the.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, there were a couple parts of this episode where I'm like, oh yeah, Sutek is hitching a ride on the TARDIS right now.
I think about that too. I'm just like,
I keep forgetting about that. This is gonna be great when Captain Jack jumps onto the thing, and then you're right. you get that Umbrella Academy meme of 5.
Okay, hold on.
Huh? What is that? A giant Egyptian dog hanging on? Is that a man just hanging on?
Okay, so it doesn't look like them. This episode reminded me of Stephen King's Langoliers, which were tiny monsters that were attacking people that were on an airplane. This is an image from that show or from that movie, and they basically like they're all like there's nothing beyond the airport, and these things are hitting them down one by one. I'm like, oh, that's where they got Father's Day from, is Langoliers.
Yeah.
Like that's absolutely what it is.
Love that movie.
So-
Like the runways disappearing. Like we gotta take off.
Yep.
It's like flying meatballs.
I was gonna say it looks like the Beholder in Doom.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
with no eye.
And like what, 2 jaws?
Yeah, two set of jaws, technically.
Oh, they look like the
3?
what is
Critters.
the creature that comes and fixes time in Rick and Morty?
I was gonna say
Oh.
the little testicle monster guys, voiced by Key and Peele.
Yeah.
They just beat up the snake. Oh man.
Oh.
And then the indecisiveness and shit. Oh god.
Yeah. So of course, I love this picture in the wedding. Like they're so awkward. They have no idea like what to do next. Like everything is falling apart behind them. And of course, we're talking about the creatures. Let's like go ahead and show them.
Oh god, gotta love those 2005 pixelated graphics.
Yeah, it's got like a Reaper scythe for a
Right?
tail.
It does. And
Oh, I
like,
didn't even notice
its
that.
mouth is kind of like a pouch
Right.
too, is the funny thing.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't even notice the tail.
I don't hate the design, honestly. I kind of like it. For creature designs, especially as you said, a last minute one, I'm for it.
Pretty good for 2005.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, of course, we know that it wasn't the doctor that saves the day because the doctor was dead at this point. But of course, Pete is the one that kind of figures it all out. Which was great because like the whole moment where Rose is talking to Pete and it was basically like he like figures out that she is his Rose and she's from the future. And of course, these monsters with the sickles with the scythe tails, they at that point, Rose from the future, perfectly fine. That makes perfect sense. And then he's like, so do I have long hair? And he's like, so okay, am I bald? It's like, yeah, that's what silence means.
Technically, technically he's bald.
Well, yeah, technically he's
bald and skinless.
Yeah.
The self-awareness of him though is like when she tells him, "Oh yeah, you read me bedtime stories every night," and do all that stuff, and he's like, "That's not me." It's like finally someone in the Tyler family with self-awareness and common sense.
Right?
I mean, sure as hell was not gonna be Jackie. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Well, of course, we're talking about Jackie. There's a strange man in my room.
Oh, yeah.
Anything could happen. No.
Shut it down. We're done here.
Yeah.
No more.
Yeah. So of course he realizes what he has to do, and then we get this touching moment. It's like so sad. Which I mean, honestly, for her, like at least she has some type of closure now with him. And we know that we'll get more down the road. Of course, I will say the first run-in with the alternate dimension Pete was a little bit traumatic for her because he's like, I am not your dad. And he just strolls off. Yeah. Like he has no concern at all about, making her feel good about herself.
I mean, I feel like it hits harder when she's like, oh yeah, Rose, wait, what? I'm here and it's a dog. Right? I feel like that hurts just as much as well.
You could say that's rough.
Like, wow, they're all successful. If I don't exist, that's crazy.
Everyone's happy without me.
They all hated me.
I forgot about that. Forgot about the dog named Rose.
Right.
What? Oh yes. What is it? Seeing the TARDIS without the interiors was kind of fun too. I'm not gonna lie, but at the same time, I'm like, shouldn't there at least be a phone in there? You don't see any kind of phone in there.
No, my first thought was it looks exactly what every cosplayer or like what every person who's built their own TARDIS, that's exactly what they have in their house. It's like, yeah, it's not bigger on the inside, which come on.
Not.
Unfortunately.
No. One day we might get there, but
I promise you. I have thought about it. I have enough land. I thought about getting like a steel building, like a steel like shell of a building, and like building trees and bamboo around it, but having the door be a TARDIS, and then you would go in and it would just be like a cool collection place. Like
there's that
I've
Who
considered
store
doing that with my doorway for my house.
I've seen people with TARDIS doors and it looks really good. But they did that in the Who store in London. They have a TARDIS in the shop, and it's the entrance into the back where you pay $5 to see a bunch of like Doctor Who collectibles and stuff.
I wish I paid that $5 or £5, I guess.
Yeah, £5, and like when I asked how much it was, I had to do like I had to ask again. I was like, it's only $5, really? And you do. It's not a very big room, but you do see some interesting stuff. Like I got to stand right next to a Dalek, and I'm like, this is actual size. This is pretty cool.
You didn't touch it, did you?
No, I did not. I didn't want to touch anything.
You are monitored, as far as I'm aware.
Yeah.
So,
I almost spent like too much money on 10 trench coat, but I just like I'm not going to be able to get this home.
I might have done that.
You can always wear it. You can always wear it, David. Don't forget, after me going to New York City Comic Con, I wore like 5 layers of clothing. One of them was my Shun-Chi cosplay underneath, just to get everything home. Because
I just went home in my Doctor Who cosplay at New York. I got on the train just dressed as 50. Like,
yeah,
when I left that convention center, I went straight to the train station.
But that's the cool thing about your costume, Niko. Like,
right?
Like, dressing at the 15th, they're just like, oh, look, he's got some style. Look at him.
Nice. Look at this guy. Nice outfit.
Oh God, I'm gonna try and do that dressed as a kingpin.
Nice.
See here, you might actually get pulled over by a cop going like, "Sir, are you a pimp or something? What is happening here?"
My
You
answer.
go to
You
a nice
embarrassed me in front of
restaurant,
Vanessa.
just get like some little roasted carrots and asparagus, like just like little garnishments.
Vanessa.
I'm just thinking about like what Doctor Who outfits can you go out in and just actually get stopped in? I'm like 4s because of the lawn scarf, probably because you're gonna get caught at a train.
Definitely 6, because what are you wearing? What do you have on right
6.
now? All these colors.
Even with 5, you got like the celery.
Yeah,
People
you're
are
like,
gonna look at the celery, and you're gonna look a little bit like a crazy homeless man.
Well, it's like I think like people running around like cosplayers for Jodie Whittaker. People, I mean, it's not a bad outfit, but at the same time, it's kind of like, are you going to a play date?
It's a little bit like, are you ready for the rain?
Are you the new Wiggles? Like
a white woman. Chuti gets by fine. Honestly, it's just the biggest outlandish part is the trench coat.
I have not seen a style that Chuti has that is not fire. Absolutely. I mean, like we're in a era now where we've gone through doctors that have worn the same outfit day in and day out, and now we're getting like variations in style, and I am absolutely for it. And like the hairstyle changes, like
I do love Chuti in the Bridgerton episodes outfit.
Yes, with Rogue.
So good.
Mm-hmm.
What else is there to this Father's Day episode, though? Honestly,
you know, I'll be honest with you. A lot of 2005 Doctor Who, like the episodes are very surface level. Yeah. You know, we'll get little bits and pieces of things like Bad Wolf and stuff like that coming in. It gets a little bit better.
Yeah,
I'm gonna prepare you guys because I think next episode's Are You My Mummy?
It's a two-parter.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah,
the best Doctor Who. It is peak Doctor Who, as I will say.
I wanted to punt that kid. Just stop.
You punt him, he'll infect you.
Yeah,
that's all I'm
saying.
I love, and we're gonna do both. We're gonna do both parts in this in the next week. But here's the funny part: like the second episode, when she's being chained to the table and she's with the guard, and she's like, "You can put me anywhere but here." And he's like, "Watch her." He's like, "Yes, mummy." What did you say, soldier?
No,
not creepy.
Are you my mummy?
Yeah, and the reason why I said that Rose learns nothing is really just the beginning of that episode where she sees the kid and goes, "Doctor, we gotta help. They're being chased." I'm like, if I went through that experience previously, I would just tunnel vision, eyes forward, not changing a thing, not even gonna step on anything weird. But
I mean, I feel like it's different when there's a kid involved, you know.
Well, it's different when there's like a single life, like that's always what the Doctor does. And when I first watched it, I didn't quite understand it that in that way yet.
Yeah. But at the same time, like I think the moral of this episode was like, okay, she wasn't going in for financial gain, but it was still self gain, and the Doctor immediately took it as she wasn't interested in going on the TARDIS when he said it was a spaceship. The moment she said it, the moment he said that it was a time machine, she immediately piqued interest. And then you get to this episode, and she's like, "You've been manipulating this whole time. This was always your plan." And she got really indignant about it because he was partially right. But then, like she's like, "You do this all the time. You go places and you meddle. What makes it any different?" And he's like, basically, I'm not doing it for my own selfish gain. I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do, you know. And the understanding that saving one person for the wrong means can cause a ripple effect that like affects everything is the most dangerous thing for the Doctor. And it makes perfect sense. But then you get down to like episodes like the next one where being involved and interfering is because something that was there shouldn't have been there in the first place. You know, those nano whatever things, the nano healers or whatever.
Itself,
yeah. They were never meant to be in that era in the first place, and everything that happens will cause a ripple effect that's going to make things worse down the road. And so he has to be involved and he has to meddle in people's lives, because it's absolutely necessary. The only time that this ever is I would think that this line gets blurred with the Doctor is when he's running away from that certain alien species that wants to absorb him. And so he makes himself human. Like there was no reason for him to be meddling in that era, but he did it.
Little family of blood.
Oh yeah.
Oh man. That when we get to Family of Blood, that guy that just rapid fire like that was my favorite part. That guy did great lines with that.
Love the smile.
Yeah, no, it's not even the smile, it's the crazy eyes that he has.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like
looking at me.
He's like, "Sister, you're small, go inside and investigate."
He just rattles off, "Chip chip cheerio, that's a good lad." What did you just say?
Yeah. Let's go native.
Yeah.
Oh Lord. But yeah, no, overall, Father's Day is just it's not too much else. Like oh wait, okay, there is this one thing. I love seeing the original cell phones.
Yeah.
Right.
My dad still has his from back in the day. It just talks on it. I'm like, the thing's a damn radio. Seeing it in like actually seeing someone like trying to use it, it's like you'd see someone using that in a World War II just kind of setting, just calling in like a bombardment with planes.
That was a cool detail too, that they kept getting the very first phone call ever made on their phones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Is that what it was?
Yeah.
I need you.
Did not know that.
Yeah.
But
It's so funny how advanced this were.
Oh, okay.
What was it?
So sorry, go for it.
No, I was just thinking, that was a telephone, and then I think like another one, like someone said, "What Goddeth Rod." Then when they send the first like text message, it's like a naked woman.
Nice. But all that I was gonna say was just we got rickrolled this episode, guys.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Before it was a thing.
Before it was the thing, we got rickrolled. We got rickrolled by the past. Let's be honest here. It's Doctor Who. They knew. They just did it earlier.
Okay,
enough.
so I was on a Reddit looking that up because I'm like, when would so this episode was 2005. The rickroll thing, the meme started 2007. And someone's like, it's not a rickroll because it wasn't a thing yet. It was just that, that song was popular at that time. I'm like, wait a second. Rick Astley never going to give you up in like 1987. Don't try to say it's just because it was popular in 2005. Like
30 years ago.
Yeah, and like 2005, Rose we were talking about the 90s, so it would have been possibly popular in that time frame, but not so much.
Okay, now I gotta look up songs from the 90s to see like what do we listen to from the 90s that still pops up.
Anything you'd hear in a grocery store now.
Gangsta's Paradise comes up.
You're gonna make me feel old. This
is gonna be like in that episode of Abbott Elementary where the guy who plays Chris Rock and Everybody Hates Chris is like, okay, let's list off some oldies, and people are going like Umbrella by
oh yeah
Rihanna. I'm like, oh shiz. Oh man. Luckily it's nothing really that I listen to at the moment, but the moment we hit the 2030s and people start listing off songs from the 2000s, that's when I'm gonna feel it.
I'm gonna point and laugh at you.
What are the songs from the 90s? Go ahead, make me feel old.
I don't even know what to even besides Gangsta's Paradise. There was nothing else.
Gangsta's Paradise. We would talk about Spiderwebs with No Doubt, which was Gwen Stefani. Red Hot Chili Peppers was a big thing. Blood Biscuit. What was it? Wallflowers.
What was the song that they played in the Rogue episode that Chuta goes classic?
I have that song on my playlist.
Can't get you out of my head. That one.
Yeah. Yep.
When was that song again? Can't get you out of my head. 2001. I don't feel that old yet from that one, luckily.
Right.
Okay. Wait. Here's a good one. I've been listening to this song. Okay, no, it's 2004. I'm fine. I'm good.
What song was it?
Unwritten.
Oh.
Release your inhibitions.
I graduated high school.
Hold on. Let's.
Here's the funny thing, David. Next year, it is my 10th year anniversary since graduating high school. I pointed that out to me and my roommate and some of my other friends, and they're like, "Fuck you, Johnny, for even speaking."
Last year was my 20th.
Here's the 90s hit essentials. This would have been stuff that I guess Pete would have been listening to with Rose. Just a Girl by No Doubt, No Scrubs with TLC, Livin' La Vida Loca.
Oh, that one.
All Star with Smash Mouth.
Oh.
The Sign with Ace of Base, Vogue with Madonna, Mariah Carey's Fantasy. Let's see, No Diggity by Blackstreet.
Fantasy does come up a lot lately. Though.
Waterfalls with TLC. I can't tell you how many times I've listened to that song.
It came on in Captain Marvel. How did that make you feel back in 2019?
Not a single Britney Spears song, huh?
Right?
No,
I haven't gotten there yet. Let's see. Oh, The Boy Is Mine by Brandy and Monica. I haven't heard that in a while. Nothing But a G Thing by Dre and Snoop Dogg.
Oh, I do remember that one.
Let's see here. Remember the Time by Michael Jackson. Let's see here. Hold On by In Vogue, which really sad thing. One of the the original In Vogue singers is living out of her car right now, which was wild when I heard that. Let's see. I'm just trying to see if there's any Getting Jiggy with It with Will Smith. Hey, before the Oscars, that was the thing that slapped.
I saw his video with the woman that played Ashley in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and he's like, I've been waiting 35 years for this dance to trend. And it was that song by Doechii. And they're doing the dance from one of the first episodes where Ashley's dancing and Will's behind her.
Yeah, he's Anxiety. Yeah, I did a stitch on that video.
Oh, love that.
Yeah. Basically saying, it's official. This trend is going to slap. Let's see.
I'm sure
some of these.
Rock will love
When
that.
I Come Around by Green Day. Come On Down by Duran Duran.
Green Day songs will make me
Spice Up Your Life by Spice Girls. I'm not seeing Britney Spears on here at all, which is wild.
That's crazy.
This is 90s hit essentials. Where did
Sorry. You said Spice Up Your Life, and now I'm just thinking of the 60th.
Neil Patrick
I'm just thinking of NPH.
Right?
Oh, Lord. Hey, it was a good dance. It was fun.
Listen, that was probably the stipulation for him to be that character.
I will play whoever you want.
I feel like Neil Patrick Harris is listen, I will do anything you want, but there will be a dance number. I mean, look at the Tonys. I don't ever really follow Broadway that much, but I will watch the Tonys if Neil Patrick Harris is hosting. Because I know that opening number is going to be amazing.
Lately with Jimmy Fallon or Kimmel or whatever the heck that one's name is.
Yeah, I heard he didn't do too bad though. I didn't watch the Oscars this last year.
I did not watch this year's, but wasn't it Conan who hosted?
I think.
Yeah.
Okay, see here, maybe I will have to watch this.
Listen, I'm gonna be honest with you. I stopped watching the Oscars after Anne Hathaway and James Franco did the intros.
What year was that? I do not remember.
That was a long time ago. Some of y'all were probably in elementary school.
Probably. I mean, I watched it when Everything Everywhere All at Once was a nominee, and ever since then I've not watched it because
honestly, Sam,
just Angela Bassett and Stephanie Hsu were snubbed, and that's everything I needed to stop watching them.
They were in the Oscars. 2011.
Oh, that's not that bad. Oh wait, no, that's 14 years ago. Never mind. Sorry, I just really put that. It still feels like 2000.
I would have said it this way. I'm not guessing your ages and everything, but 14 years ago, I would probably have still been older than you guys.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm 25. No, I'm 27 in in 3 days. Oh God. Did not want to look at that, but yeah, no, I'm 27 in 3 days.
Johnny, you're almost 30.
That's fine. My best friend is turning 28, and I will refuse to let her live it down. So when she hits 30,
so if we're I turned 42 this April, So basically, 14 years ago, I would have been getting ready to turn 28.
Yeah, no, you were.
Goodbye, everybody.
It's
It's been nice seeing you.
You're older than me. I think the others would have still been around a little bit older than
Yeah,
you,
I was
but me.
I was 26 in 2011.
Oh my God.
That's my age now. Oh lordy, lordy.
No, what am I doing here?
Talking about an immortal man who can forever stay young.
I'm
Sorry,
trying.
man slash woman.
Listen, let me tell you something right now. Like people are like, oh, you can lose weight and stuff. Yeah, if I lose weight, I'll start looking old. Like it's when the wrinkles start showing up. Fat people look younger. I'm just saying.
They stay plump. Yeah.
Just
But-
keeping the lines away.
Nice.
Me just patting my stomach over here, you know.
I know it. Well, yeah.
I mean, better than having these. I'm not a fan of these.
Hey, gynecomastia is a normal thing.
Yeah, but I don't like it. Do you know how many titty flips I have to deal with? It's not fun.
Talk about wibbly wobbly.
That's a good transition.
Yeah.
Anyway, Doctor Who. No.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so we've gone through what, not eight episodes now. We're on episode 7
Yes.
here. We've done it. We did a double.
We're about
So
to do 9 and 10.
Where would this kind of fall into everybody's like ranking so far, looking back at, you know, the long game, the Slovene with what, World War III and Aliens of London. We've got, you know, the first episode, Rose, with the Nestine consciousness. You know, where would you say that this falls in so far, even with our, you know, our gas monsters and stuff?
Honestly, still pretty low. Like,
Yeah.
I still remember finishing this episode. I'm just like, man, this show is not hitting for me. And like, I really
Pushing
need like a
over
good
towards the
episode to pull me in.
That's my exact thoughts on first watch. I mean, this episode now, I like this one better than the last episode, but Doctor Who for me did not really start to pick up until the next episode onward, because then you get to like the main plot of the season and it just goes up from there. And I mean, like, yeah, I mean, it's really, now is when it's going to start to take off.
I will say the moment that I was all in, I mean, I stuck with it. You guys kept me going. But the moment we got to like the second to last episode and we got to Android, I was like, I want to see what else they're going to do. I absolutely want to see what else is going to happen.
Yeah.
Are you looking it up, Johnny?
I'm just looking because like I have to watch it through Amazon Prime, right? And the listings all out of order after Empty Child after the Doctor Dances, because next thing I know I have Boomtown and I'm looking at David Tennant.
Boomtown?
Yeah, that's not right.
Do you have a Max subscription?
We don't have HBO Max in Canada. I'm fine with it.
See, I'd be like VPNing it.
Oh,
another thing, Disney wants the entire.
Boomtown is next. Boomtown, Bad Wolf, then Parting of the Ways. But for some reason, just the images are wrong, because I'm looking at David, and then David. That's weird. Anyways,
David. No.
Hey,
David.
Let's see, because now I'm confused.
Sorry, as you were saying, Disney. Because Boomtown's the one where the Slovene and the Doctor go on their little date, and she tries to murder him like 3 different occasions. He's like,
yeah, but that's not the next episode.
No, after the Doctor Dances, it is. So it's Empty Child, Doctor Dances, Boomtown, Bad Wolf, Parting of the Ways, and then Regeneration or Fresh Regeneration episode.
Oh, okay, I see.
It's fine. Regardless, I also have the DVDs.
And, you know, so
if
Empty
it's
Child,
ever
yeah.
out of order.
Empty Child,
I
Doctor
have to wait.
Dances, Boomtown, Bad Wolf.
Yeah.
And Party
So
of the Ways.
we have 5 episodes left of the 9th Doctors.
Yep. And next week we're going to do Empty Child and the Doctor Dances together.
Yes.
Yeah.
Those ones you have to do together.
Wow, it's getting really fast. I didn't realize like how quickly we were going to get into
10th, Sarah?
the 10th. Yeah.
You're right.
Man, they did
Sure.
Eccleston wrong.
I'm sure Eccleston agrees with you.
He does 100%.
Yeah. Well, with that said, I guess this would be a good point to wrap up. We're at the 1 hour mark. And so, yeah, next week we will be doing both, the Empty Child and the Doctor Dances. Those are a 2-part episode, which we get into Captain Jack.
The sex offender.
Oh, yeah. We go from one groom to the next. And so we will be watching. Listen, the jokes may be old and they may be repeated, but it all comes back in the end. That's just
it's fine. It's Doctor Who. Things get old, things get retooled.
Speaking of tools, we'll be seeing the Captain Jack next week. And so so we will see you next week, 2:00. Before we go, everybody go ahead and say where we can find you. Let's go ahead and start with Johnny first, and then we'll go that way.
Y'all can find me on Instagram, YouTube, and TikTok under Marvelous Johnny. 2 L's, people, for Marvelous.
Mm-hmm.
I am on all socials as Xanatos1138.
Niko Skywalker on TikTok, Skywalking Niko on Instagram.
And I'm at Mr. Marvelite, but also I'm Tony, founder of It's FanBox, and you can find out more about what we're doing on itsfanbox.com. And I'm just going to say it: this guy and this guy still have to give me bios about themselves, because we do we do have Teams pages, which will also show you the other things that they're attached with It's FanBox, but also should let you know a little bit more about them, because It's FanBox is it's not a news site, it's not just a site for a YouTube channel. It's a place that we're trying to build a community and build opportunities for positive fandoms. And you can see that with like our discussions with Daredevil Born Again, here with Tardis Talks, with fandoms, and with more shows to go. And then, of course, if you're interested in movie reviews or any like news and stuff, like finding out more about the My Hero Academia Vigilantes show that's coming out in April. There is info there, which is pretty fire. And
that Electric State review, by the way, was hilarious.
Did you read it? Did you actually read it?
I read it.
Snidbits was like, he's like, and I'll tell you right now, like, he writes the reviews, and I've been writing the headlines. I have had so much fun coming up with headlines for his reviews. Like, let's hope this is Venom's last dance. Like some of those it's just been fun. But it's also been great because I've been able to write a little bit about anime, which is something that I've been wanting to do for a while. And it's been very enjoyable. So
Niko, we should do something for Mashal.
Oh
yeah, Mashal.
We need to find a way to convince Tony and other people to watch Mashal.
Listen, Creepy Nuts got me watching Mashal. What are you talking
about?
Listen, if Creepy Nuts does an intro for something, I'm absolutely watching it. Like, I'm just trying to figure out how I'm going to write about Dan to Dan. So,
I still need to watch Dan to Dan. So,
you haven't?
I've not watched Dan to Dan.
Sir,
I'm very, very, very picky with my anime.
I'm going to tell you right now. Oh, stop the Siri.
Siri.
I'm going to tell you right now. That is probably my favorite anime of this year so far, or I guess last year. I had so much fun watching it.
I'll probably give it a watch after my rewatch of Jujutsu Kaisen again.
Okay, and then also Sakamoto Days.
What the heck is Sakamoto Days?
Oh, you don't know about Sakamoto Days?
I do not know about Sakamoto Days. Okay, so clearly, so here's the thing. Okay, here's the thing. I do very little anime. I've seen JJK. I've seen Death Note, still my favorite anime of all time.
Nice.
Mashal, Magic and Muscles, and very little Bleach and Naruto from when I was a child.
See, like, I binged. I just like this last week because I was sick. Man. So this last week because I was sick, I binged the entirety of what was available for Dr. Stone and absolutely loved it.
Nice.
I'm an episode behind on Sakamoto Days, which my kid reminds me on a consistent basis because that's like his favorite anime right now. And then also Delicious in Dungeons on Netflix is
I do hear about that one.
Fire is absolutely fire. So, and I wrote about it because I was like Sakamoto Days and Delicious in Dungeons. Were the first two I was like inspired to write about. And I'm working on something for Dr. Stone, but absolutely so much fun.
Okay, I'll give him a try. I should also write something for Jujutsu Kaisen before season 3 starts for the Cullen Games.
Yeah, do it.
Should be good. Yes, after my bio.
Exactly. Exactly. But with that said, you guys, you've been with us for way too long now. So we're gonna go ahead and say have a great afternoon, and we will catch you next week for the Hollow Child and the Doctor Dances.